Fantastic. Well, welcome everyone. I hope you are well. My apologies, I was out of action for most of last week between detoxing and catching a bit of a bug and the flu. It was an interesting week. At least I got lots of rest and sleep. So yeah, very exciting to have you all on the call, and I hope you're enjoying yourself with your 90-day sprint. We're up to week 4 now, and it's already 15th of July. This year is halfway gone and into the second half. So if you're suffering from the cold weather, I hope the inspiration of Bali looming in later in the year is firing you up and getting you into action. I'm actually in jeans today, which for a Queenslander is a big deal. I'm still in a short sleeve shirt, but it is actually cool outside. And yeah, my condolences for all of you that are really ragged up like Mary there down on Mornington Peninsula. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen and let's do some recognition for those wonderful people that have been in action this week. What's that? Someone's trying to give me a bell. Sorry, Isabella. Okay, so 90-day sprint. There's the link. If anyone still does need the link or someone requires that for their team members, by all means, please take it. I'll pop it in the chat box shortly. And top contactors for the week. So, do we go straight there? No, top enrollers for the week. So, the top enrollers is actually Dawn Stewart. So, congratulations, Dawn, Julie, and Jalan. You're the top. Oh, no, that's fine. You're the top enrollers this week. Let's manage participants. Quickly turn the mute off and give them a round of applause. Congratulations to the top enrollers for the week. Yay! And Dawn all the way down in Invercargill, you champion. Effort. Very impressive. Okay, so then obviously the top contactors for the week is the second recognition that we give, and that only works when people are using through Genie, if they're pressing contact or if they're doing progress report through Genie. But Marion there is doing a fantastic job. So give Marion a big round of applause. Congratulations, Marion, for getting your heads around you see a business coach and using that in your contacting. All right. Well, look, so I hope you're all getting stuck into your accountability groups and getting things moving, getting into a rhythm. You've got your DMOs sorted, your accountability agreements happening, and yeah, starting to settle into some regular support and messaging through your accountability groups. But today I am thrilled to have a guest speaker on the call. We have the amazing Helen Jemison, and I had all my notes set up, but the computer's not sort of working just perfectly. And Helen has got The Networker. I know many of you are aware of her book and some of the work that she's done, but she is, I find, has some really amazing insights and wisdom into our industry, the network marketing industry, and presents it in a way that is different to most. And I really like it, and I hope that you can take advantage of some of her content. And we'll plug her website later on. But we're going to hear from Helen today. And Helen Jemison is actually a network marketing $1 million earner. She's a mama of 2, under 10, a believer in freedom, an introvert. That's a big one for all of you scary that think that introverts can't do it. Author and all-round smarty pants. So, and that's pretty good. Helen built a network marketing business to the point of full-time residual income, and the lessons she learned personally in the trenches, as well as the coaching of hundreds of people over 6 years, are condensed in the Networker book. It's a novel that follows a woman as she tackles no money, no time, a negative spouse, and the sneaking doubt that only lucky people achieve their dreams in MLM. Anyone else feel the same? Pop your hand up if you feel that that may be you at times. Have some of those doubts. I'm sure we all go through that. So look, Helen's on the call and she's going to share with us some of her wisdom today. So please, I'll unmute you all to give her a big round of applause and a warm welcome from the Shine Bright team to the wonderful Helen Jemison. Helen Jemison, welcome to the call. Oh, Helen's got a video off right now. Classic. I'm sure it was on earlier. Can't seem to unmute her either. Helen, can you unmute yourself at all? Or have we lost you maybe? Can you hear us, Helen? not quite ready. That's fine. Something's going on there. Maybe the internet. Well, as some of you may know, I want to give a big shout out to Julie Operman from Melbourne, Victoria, and Gold Executive. And Julie is really the one that brought Helen's work to my attention. Julie's been running an accountability group since the last 90-day sprint we did last year. And she's developed a really amazing community, and they're quite inspired and empowered group of ladies that have been, Margot's nodding, that have been working together for a long time and using a lot of Helen's work. And they've even been through a beta testing of Helen's workbook and that sort of thing. And they've had fantastic results as a community themselves. So big round of applause to Julie Operman for bringing Helen to us. Thank you very much, because together we all achieve more, right? So Helen's back. Helen, you're right to talk. Welcome so much to the call.
Don't know what happened there, Justin.
That's totally fine. That's IT. I'm so used to it these days.
Yes.
So look, thank you very much for coming on the call. And how is cool New Zealand today?
It's 15 degrees, so it's bizarre. My kids are wearing shorts and t-shirts determinedly, and I've been wearing a woolly jumper until this call. So
okay, well,
you are. How much you're running around?
You got your first smarty pants comment in there, I think, because I don't think Queenslanders at 15 degrees would be wearing shorts.
Kiwis are determined here in New Zealand.
They are. I went trekking in the backland, or what do they call it? Yeah, trekking, which is hiking for the Australians, in the backwater kind of treks. And my friend who'd been living in Christchurch for a few years, he's Australian. He was right in trekking. He said, Kiwis are amazing. Like we've got all this gear on. We've got our 20-kilo packs on. We're climbing up this mountain, and you'll see a Kiwi run past in sneakers and singlet and shorts. And I kid you not, 15 minutes later, that's exactly what happened.
There it was.
And she was in the mid-30s, and she was just powering up this hill, and we were lugging up this hill. We've been trekking for half a day. We were like, gee, she's got a long way to run back to town.
That's New Zealand.
Yeah, I was definitely impressed. Fantastic. Okay, so Helen, I'd love you to share some of your amazing wisdom that you've got, and thank you so much for your book and the training that you're doing and bringing a different element, a different perspective to network marketing. I think you really bring a connection to the heart and the emotions that a lot of people feel through this journey, where a lot of the more masculine trainers in the world, particularly sort of a lot of American trainers, are very like headstrong and mental orientated. And we know that that's good in a way, but also, you've got to bring your heart into it. I think a blending of the two is the perfect match. And so, yeah, I really love what you do. So thank you so much for bringing that to the industry and to us as well as a team. Would you like to tell us a little bit briefly about your background prior to network marketing, and then during a network marketing career, what happened, what you're able to achieve, so people can relate to your journey a bit more?
Yeah. So I didn't really know where to start, because I think really when I was 17, my dad died very unexpectedly and suddenly out of the blue, and he was only 50. And he had been a really big fan of the get an education, get a job, work hard, retire, then your real life can start. And I had totally subscribed to that. And when he died, it was very devastating in lots of ways, but a sort of odd side effect was that I couldn't actually hold down a job, like the longest I've ever actually, and there's nothing wrong with jobs. It's just I couldn't hold one down. It was only 4 months was the most I'd ever been able to check in and check out, clock in and clock out. And it wasn't until much later that I realized that sense of claustrophobia I got was from watching my dad work in a job that he really didn't like, and that his retirement didn't come, those golden years. It was that I kind of had this, the emperor has no clothes on moment, where it's like this thing that I totally believed in and accepted, like gravity, actually wasn't necessarily going to work for everybody, especially if you don't like your job. I think it's really important to have a job to support you while you build your dreams. I think it's really important to have a job if you're giving back, like I think teachers, it'd be great if you could do teaching for free, because you didn't need the salary kind of thing. for the love of, there's a lot of vocational work that's really important. It's good for the soul. And it keeps you in touch with reality as well. I think you can lose touch with reality when you're thinking of big money in a short period of time. And you can think that somehow it's just about ka-ching. You know, it's not about effort and reward. So I think jobs can keep you honest in that way. But that's really where it started for me. And then many years later, I'd already done one degree. I did another degree where I thought I wanted to qualify as an osteopath, where I would get more valuable as I got older, instead of being replaced by machines or younger people who they could pay less. So I was studying away on that. And then I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And, you know, you hear this a lot. It's such an amazingly impactful book. And that's really when I realized that I was allergic to trading my life for money, selling my life by the hour for money, because I'd seen Dad do it and it had failed him so badly. And then we got after it, you know, in terms of all the different ways possible we could make money in a business way. We started investing in property with other people's money. We were $70,000 in debt at that point from, you know, college educations and that sort of thing, and credit card debt. And we ran an importing business, bringing in health foods, you know, little bars that you could bring in from England. And it was all very educational, taught me about the realities of business. And then I started a business where it was about corporate wellness. And we went into workplaces, reduced, you know, absenteeism from RSI and all that sort of thing, running a team of 7 people. So I've known what it is they were all contractors. I have never had employees, but trying to get people to do what you want them to do, you know, because they're representing your business. And so I had this sort of baptism of fire in the realities of business. And while we were doing that, while my husband was a high school teacher and I was doing that, and we had no time and no money, and our neighbors who I really liked, they were very cool. And when I found out they were doing network marketing, it was like, oh, they seemed like such nice people. And I was kind of fascinated because my parents had done network marketing when I was about sort of 10 or 12. And I just knew that it was about sort of shoulder pads and high heels and hassling your friends. And I knew it wasn't for me, and I knew it didn't work. And so after a while, these people were really nice. They were living a great life. It wasn't flashy. It was just kind of, they were both at home. They both had young kids. You know, it's like, I was like, how are you making this work? You know, you seem like such nice people. How are you doing it? And they showed me a presentation and I absolutely got it. It was like, I just got everything about it. Maths isn't my strong point, but I just got chills up my spine. And even though I didn't have any time, even though we had no money to get started, I put my business on a credit card. Chris was kind of like, yeah, you should do that, babe. You know, it'd be great for you. And I see that a lot. I see that a lot with men saying, yeah, you should do that to the women. And so I just worked it in the nooks and crannies. You know, it's a classic story, but I had 3 hours a week, and anything that's a real disadvantage can become such a strong advantage. So I didn't know it at the time, but I didn't have time for fluffing around, navel gazing, thinking about it. I just made calls and spoke to people and sat down with people because I only had 3 hours a week. And within about 4 months, my business had paid for itself. And then after about 12 months, that was when we actually flew into the school in a helicopter and picked up Chris from the school field. All the kids, it was a high school, all the kids poured out. Wow, sir, it was a boys' school. And taking off over that field, my sponsor was in the helicopter. The first 2 people we'd sponsored were in the helicopter. And we flew off over the field, watching everybody waving at the helicopter. And I like to say, you know, yes, we've made $1 million US. My business still pays me now. It's just that I did a lot of things right and a lot of things wrong. And I think that's something we don't hear a lot about. Don't really hear that sort of frankness about what was good and what I would do differently for sure. And how I manage my finances would be a big thing in that. So I'm, you know, deal with that a lot in the work that I do. So that's sort of a nutshell of how our journey started and progressed.
Yeah, fantastic. I didn't know about the helicopter story before. That's great insight. Thank you for that. Yeah, I can imagine that would have been a big impact on your boy.
Yeah, for sure. And it was a couple of months after that it took for him to get it. You know, there's sort of a famous incident where we were driving along and he's still sort of arguing with me about it, you know, like, yeah, but. And I slammed on the brakes and I'm just like, mate, you know, if we do this and we do it right, then we're sorted, you know. It's like, when are you going to give it the attention it deserves? And it wasn't until he then met some trainers from the States, some guys that he could relate to, I suppose, or look at them and think, hell, if you're doing this, I can do this. And he totally took the handbrake off then. But it took him a long time to get it, despite all the evidence, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
normal for anyone out there who's struggling with that. Get on and do it yourself, and he'll get it eventually. He will.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, that's so interesting. Hey, so I was actually talking about your. Did you say it was your boy that you went to his school and took off with a helicopter, but then the husband's still like not on board? I was like, what? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I love your book. It's an awesome book, The Networker. I'm assuming the book is a reflection, or at least has similar experiences to your actual career in network marketing. And it sounds like you went through a stage where you perhaps didn't have accountability or effective accountability. And that's kind of like the theme of today, is around accountability and how that can make a big difference in our lives. And then you found, or at least the main character found this incredible mentor and had great accountability. Would you like to share with us the difference that made in your success and your overall fulfillment in life, not just in the business, but just in like managing life?
So there's a couple of things there. One is I had great accountability from the get-go, but I see, and it's not always that black and white, but I see a couple of things happen. Is one, either that accountability is too harsh and there's not enough empathy there. And what was great with my sponsor was that she had so much empathy. It means that and you see Brenda do this over and over in The Networker, is she's going to listen, she understands, she gets it, but she's not going to let you wallow in that, because she knows the only way out is through and round and over and under, and that it's what is going on in your mind, not what's going on in your environment, that will make the difference. And so my sponsor had that. She had waded through really tough stuff, with her belief, and everybody who's made it, I guarantee Justin has done this, and Jules has done this, it's about how you look at an issue, not whether you can just, it should just go away, my husband should be more positive, or I should have more money, or I'll wait until I've got more time when I can build this. It's not that. It's not about toughening up, and it's about dancing with it better. It's about reading stuff and putting it, that personal development that you described before, a lot of those trainers from the States, it's gold. It's just, you need to put yourself in the picture. And that's the second thing I see, is that people will find that accountability, either the accountability is too harsh, or it seems too harsh to you when you're hearing it, because that you feel like that person doesn't understand. You feel like nobody's ever felt this kind of pain before, or dealt with these kind of obstacles, that somehow leadership or top income earners or people who've done what you want to do, that they've had lucky breaks or green lights or special bullets. And so accountability is priceless, because it's interesting, I'm rehabilitating a knee injury at the moment, and I've got a set of things I need to do, exercises and things I need to do, and my comfort zone is chattering away, and it's warm and cozy in the morning in bed, and I don't want to get up. But I know that I'm going to have to tell my physio how many times I did the exercises that week. So saying that stuff to her, but it was warm and cozy, and paying her the money to listen to that, it's like it brings it into sharp relief in terms of like, my comfort zone can chat away to me, but it's hard to feed that same stuff to someone on the outside and expect them to swallow it. And so accountability is, you see it a lot in exercise. You have an exercise buddy, or someone who's counting your reps, or someone who's meeting you in the dark for that run before work, and it's just the same with the things. I love what I was saying at the beginning of this call, that there it is. That's what you did. That was your input to your business, and you'll start to see the results, feeding out the people who consistently who contact the most people. You can absolutely influence how many people you speak to in a week. And you can also, with the personal development and being honest with someone who's coaching you and willing to get over your stuff, you can influence who you are in those interactions. And so it's not just about banging them, talking to people. Are you interested? No. Are you interested? No. It's about the level of, and you can't fake it. I see people try and fake it as well. The level of zest you feel for your future, what this vehicle means to you. If you bring that to your calls, then you'll feel better about what you're doing, and people will be affected by that. That's why people get on the calls with you each week, is to be in the presence of someone who's in the zone. And like I say, you can't fake it, but if you're in love with where you're going, then that, combined with the accountability, what you bring to the calls, that makes an enormous difference to how good you feel about what you're doing, which means how long you'll do it, and the results that you get, which then becomes a positive feedback loop. So yeah, it's something I saw again and again. Either people would get toey about their accountability and feel like, oh, I just need to tell you one more time, you don't understand how difficult this is for me. Or their sponsor didn't believe that actually getting someone to do the actions over and over is going to produce results combined with personal development. And so that sweet spot with accountability, someone who cares, is not going to buy your story, but you have to report to them, that's just gold. You do that week in, week out, there's going to be huge transformations over time. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. So we'll definitely come back to the mindset a bit later on, but would you like to share with us how you instituted accountability in your team and what sort of difference that makes? Well, you already said it obviously makes a massive difference to success, but did you see examples where there wasn't accountability and there was, and the difference?
We always had accountability. I saw it in when I had children. I think the accountability slacked off. I think for Chris, my husband, he's extremely talented at, he's very charismatic and very good with people. And so if you are looking at the business with Chris, you're going to get started, kind of thing. And so he would have less of a belief that you could teach anyone to do that, because how he built the business was through talents and special bullets, in many ways. And how the people I worked with and my special skill set was believing anyone could do it. And so for Chris, that was a steep learning curve. And I could see people working with him where there wasn't the accountability, because he kind of took on for a while there that belief that he had to basically get in front of people and sign them up, which is great. It's very effective. But then you've got a job and you've got to work yourself. And the bigger your team gets, the more you've got to do the presentation. You run yourself into the ground. That's not leverage. That's not the power of network marketing. And so we had all sorts of ways to hold people accountable. And that was revealed when I had children, when that belief that I had about accountability and so on fell away because I was busy being manic with children. It's all consuming, believe me. And so we all tried lots and lots of different ways. So we had focus groups like this one where people would, they were very small, and we would have accountability in that scenario, very similar to what you've just done at the beginning of this call. And then we even tried things like, as the team got bigger, you'd have an accountability buddy. And so that I like the system now where you just text that person, done, thumbs up, did my calls, did whatever it is you've agreed on that is the thing you need to do every day. And just receiving that text would be like, oh, I need to get it done. Even if it's 10 o'clock at night, you're going to contact two people, even if it's the customer service person at your bank on the phone. And so it inspires you. It's a real pull and it's a push when you've got somebody out there who's your accountability buddy. It's free and it's magic. But we also tried things like having a carrot and a stick, so if I do what I say I'm going to do this week, then I'm going to have go to the movies or get a manicure or, whatever the reward was, have a bubble bath, if it needs to be free at this point, all the way through to sticks, which is like, if I don't do it, I'm going to run to the letterbox naked, or I'm going to eat cat food, or, terrible sticks, all sorts of things that people thought up that were hilarious. And, just like, there is no way I am letting that happen. I'd rather, which is insane when you think about it, the things we do for our bosses at work, They have the threat of being able to fire you. And that's the trick in network marketing, is you're running a volunteer army who all that's at stake is their dreams. And it's real easy to put your dreams away and think, oh, I'm pretty comfortable. All of us are pretty comfortable right now. It's like, oh, if you're not anchored in to what your dreams mean to you and you're really committed, like Sally, she works away on that until she's in tears, feeling the passion for where she wants to go. And instead of feeling tears of like, why can't I have that? Brenda turns that around and shows her that, why are you crying? Because you can have that if you will do the work, if you will become who you need to be. And so that's the kind of leverage you need to get on yourself. And what accountability does is create a feedback loop of positive results. Because the magic about this business is you can't sit at home with your fingers crossed and focus on your fears and not do what it takes and get results. But you can, step by step by step, take pretty unspectacular steps. If you do it consistently and you bring yourself to it, then the results are going to start to happen. And that's the magic of that's what we were working on with our accountability buddy system, was doing 90-day stints or whatever, to then create like, oh my gosh, like the sort of eureka moment, like, when I do the work, I get the results. And that's a huge disconnect there is, because people have all sorts of funny ideas about what it takes to make big money. You've either got to marry it, you've got to win it, or you've got to be a really bad person to make it. And they can't make the link between, gosh, little steps over time, day in, day out, create amazing results. It's just the day in, day out. Feels a bit grim when you're in it. I was messaging with someone earlier about pressure makes diamonds. But the thing is that pressure can feel terrible when you're in it. And if you've got somebody to, elbow in the ribs and say, wasn't that terrible? Or like, nobody came, or, they said I was stupid. If you've got no one to share the bad stuff with and laugh, and you've got no one to share the good stuff with and go, yes, and they really get what that means to you, then it's difficult. You're kind of out there in a wasteland. It's not that it can't be done, but it decreases the lows and it makes the highs so much sweeter, having someone in there with you who cares. It doesn't have to be, it could be cross-line, so yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Question. I feel like I went right round the houses.
Yeah, that was great. A lot of extra bonus content, and I've seen this not just in network marketing, but in traditional business as well. It's usually quite lonely as a business owner. People don't understand, and definitely employees don't understand. And yet we know with business models, you're never going to get rich or very, 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 very few people ever get rich at having a job, having an employee. So business is the way of creating wealth. And yet the journey of being a business owner is extremely challenging. But for network marketers, it's also very lonely in the fact that unless they're deliberately creating these groups and this community within the organization or within the team, to have that community. Otherwise, they're just kind of, you can be sitting at home twiddling your thumbs.
Well, and sitting at home listening to all your comfort zones reasons about why you shouldn't. It's dinner time. Oh no, they wouldn't be interested. Oh no, but if you're going to eat cat food on Friday, if you haven't contacted 10 people or met 2 new people a day or whatever it is, then you're not going to listen too long to that. Whereas if you're at home by yourself, it's very plausible. It's like, just watch another round of Game of Thrones. I'll do it tomorrow. It doesn't feel that huge at the time, but it is. It really is. That stuff steals your life. Your comfort zone stealing your life.
I love that phrase. Yeah, comfort zone stealing your life. That's amazing. And it really, I think this is a bit of a, like, any tips and wisdom on this internal conversation to help ourselves maintain our accountability? Because if we have reached a level of success and we got this residual income coming in, and some many people on the call have got residual income, many people don't. But when you get to that point and you're paying all your bills and so forth, it can be a real, it's very easy to slip in to that comfort zone. And yeah, so.
Yeah.
And what sort of practices?
Well, that's again where your accountability comes in. And also, what's the word? Perspective, where gratitude lists, I know they're corny, but they're powerful, man. And it's like you start to focus on what you have instead of what you're lacking. And that is the space where you bring more in. You see the opportunities, you see the good stuff. It's not about being delusional. You know, there was a while there again in my business where I felt like, you know, I mustn't think bad thoughts. You know, if something terrible happened in my business, you know, or someone I really loved working with quit, or, you know, something like, boom, it was flooring, a torpedo, as they talk about in Rhinoceros Success. There was a while there where I mustn't talk about that because that's negative. But that's nonsense. You know, though, you need to find somebody who you can talk about that with and say, that was devastating. I felt I have invested so much in this person, tra la la la. But choose someone who is going to get it, who's going to put their arm around your shoulders metaphorically and say, yep, here's an example from my career where that happened. And then they're going to say, and this, and this helped. And they're going to help you embrace some stuff that's going to get you back on your feet, because believe me, it's a people business. And so you're going to find things that happen that are wonderful. You know, people will hold the microphone and cry and say, I couldn't have done it without this person, you know, you. And they're also going to sneak off and stop returning your calls and listen to people who are really negative, that, you know, and you see that happen in the book too. And so you need an external source, but if you haven't got that, you can also plug in. No, Sally says it in the book. What would Brenda say? What would Brenda tell me to do? Do I want a quiet comfort zone or a life worth living? You know, and it's really good to write it down. What is your comfort zone saying? You'll never make it. I'm doing a visualization sort of mentoring with a friend at the minute. And the trick is to write down what that negative critic in my head is saying. You'll never do that. You know, that's not possible, la, 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 la. And you write it down and then you look at it. It's not about not thinking about it. There's no weeds, like Tony Robbins says. It's about writing that thing down, calming yourself and thinking, is it true? Or are there two ways of looking at that? Is there some other evidence in my life that shows that absolutely that can be done? Absolutely, I'm brave. Absolutely, people come back after people in their team quit, or whatever the obstacle is. And so writing down what your comfort zone is saying is really powerful. On the 21-day challenge that's on my website, there's a bit in there about how to deal with your inner critic. And it's like a really great thing is to give it a name, you know, like something like Basil or something, you know, where it's like, well, thank you, Basil. But actually that's not true. You know, and it's like that. It's like, I can't do that. That's ridiculous. I'm a grown woman. But actually, doing that is what pulls back the curtain. You know, like in the Wizard of Oz. It's like, get that curtain back. Look at the little man pulling your levers and making a big noise. And oh, it's just a little man. Oh, it's just Basil, my inner critic. You know, la la la-ing in my ear. And so, again, if you've got somebody who's doing the 21-day challenge with you, reading whatever, you know, the book, reading the networker with you, or reading Think and Grow Rich with you, whatever, then you can bounce ideas off each other about, you know, well, is that Basil again? You know, well, that sounds like Basil, doesn't it? You know, and just, you can actually be honest with someone, but you need to be honest with someone from a space of being willing to move through it. You don't necessarily need to kid yourself or stick a happy face on it or paste over it. You know, you can actually work through this stuff and start dealing with it from a different angle, looking at it from a different angle, and then you're not paralyzed anymore. You know, then you can still get back up and take more action. So a great example I just popped into my head then was I did the whole call my chicken list exercise, and which was terrifying. And one of those people was my accountant, who is a very, very successful property investor, who was our accountant because we were property investing when we started our business. And man, he shot me down for like 20 minutes, and he proved to me how it wasn't going to work. He had people on his books and nobody made any money and tra la la. I was flattened. All the air went out of my balloon, and I sat on that for a while, and then I took it to my sponsor. And that took a lot of courage to take that to my sponsor, because he'd proved to me that I'd been conned by my sponsor. And I was honest with her about what had just happened, and she was able to hear me out. And then she's like, okay, so let's look at what just happened, and let's look at whether successful network marketers would keep their businesses with him. so maybe he's got a self-fulfilling prophecy going there. And as it turned out, we took our accounts to someone who specialized in network marketing because we didn't want to have our parade rained on every time we had our accounts in. And so by being honest, I walked through that, which felt like, being rained on from a great height, and I became stronger. And so my comfort zone wanted me to not take that to my sponsor, to start avoiding her, to try and save face because I felt embarrassed about what a fool I'd been. And actually, by taking it to her, she didn't brainwash me. She just gave me another way of looking at it. I'm an intelligent woman. And it's like, hang on, yeah, maybe there's some truth in that. And as I worked through it myself, then I came out stronger. And that's the thing when you face your comfort zone, is you come out stronger, because it can't fool you so much. You've always got a comfort zone. I guarantee Justin's got a comfort zone. I've got a comfort zone now. It's just your comfort zone is bigger. So you've got more room to move. And it's the same tactics usually that it's using on you, so you recognize them easier. So yeah, that would be, have someone you can be honest with, be willing to work through it and write it down, get it out there on paper, reveal what it's really saying to you. It's playing on your darkest fears, and you're going to have to face those if you're going to grow enough to be the sort of person that the company finds valuable enough to give lots of money to, basically.
Yeah, I love that. Our founder says that people are only valued by as much as they make themselves valuable to others. And that's fantastic advice, Alan. I hope everyone else is writing notes. I am. Yeah, there's some really great stuff in there. One of the things I wanted to just touch on was, say, for example, how would you rate from 0 to 10 the importance of developing that mindset to be successful in network marketing, and activities like your ideal day practice that's in the book, things like that? Like, how would you rate that out of 10?
It's 10 for sure. And having your dream board, having that close by when you're doing your business building activities, which, the main one that seems to scare the pants off people is contacting people. So having that nearby when you're contacting people, and if the company could move its product or service without you, with flyers or anonymous messages, or not really revealing not using the connection and your personality and the gifts that you bring, it would do it without you. It would cut out large paying commissions to distributors. The company would bypass that if they could. It wouldn't make sound business sense. And so it's crucial, like contacting people, it's crucial. And you contacting the people that that's crucial. Yeah, so combining it with action, that's really important. But I believe that if you do enough personal development and you're doing it with other people, there's going to be a time when you can't stand yourself. You're going to have to reach for what you want, but it's going to take an awfully long time. So combining it, Nicole said before in another call, it's so important to take action, and that's such a good point. I know people who've got walls of personal development. They've bought all the books and they've cheered on at the seminars, and you have to read that stuff. And if you're taking action when you listen to the thing or read the thing, you are going to learn so much more than if you're just not taking action and consuming it. So a great example would be, would you try and learn to swim by reading a book on the side of the pool? It's like, you're not going to learn as fast or as much watching YouTube videos and listening to conference calls as you would if you were in there, getting the water up your nose, trying the different strokes, being out of your depth, having some breakthroughs. Those how-to videos, all the resources, they're going to help you so much more when you're trying it. So you have to be contacting people. You have to be presenting. You have to be doing your public speaking or whatever it is that's frightening you. Because when you do it, then you can learn something. And you'll find, as you go back to the books and things that you read at the beginning of your career, if you go back to that after 13 months, you'll find entirely new chapters in those books because you didn't see them at first. And knowing what you know 13 months in, having had the highs and having had the lows, and then that's, and that brings me to something else that I did wrong, which was, as my team really grew, I started consuming everything as though, oh, Justin should listen to this. Oh, that would be really great for Jules. Oh, Sal should do that, instead of what does Helen need to consume right now. And so you are the goose that's laying the golden eggs as a leader. And so, yes, it's important to know your resources so that you can say, when someone's complaining about time management or whatever, yeah, you should eat that frog, but you have to keep working on yourself. You can't keep giving out and giving out and giving out and not feeding your own furnace. So personal development all the way through, and not just for the novelty factor, not just because you're bored, but because you need to keep growing, and that never stops, for sure. So it's a 10, personal development. You can make a lot of money without doing the personal development, but it won't be a team that's duplicating without you, I would say, unless you're growing, and then getting other people to grow. Because otherwise, like I said before, you've just got a job. You have to do it all for everyone with your special talents and amazing magic carpet, instead of empowering other people, ordinary people, to do extraordinary things. So, yeah.
Yeah, totally hear that. That's fantastic. Yeah, that's my mission, is to empower people to be their best self with abundant health and wealth. And it's, that means I've got to be mine. I've got to be my best self to do that. That's fantastic. I did hear, I think Rob Sperry, he always talks about, for every hour or 30 minutes of personal development you do 30 minutes of action. Do a 1-for-1. At least a 1-for-1, because it's that implementation and we really learn. That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Helen. It's been a fantastic call. Everyone, just in the chat box there, we will put it in the email that goes out today as well, but there's the link to Helen's website, ibuiltanetwork.com, and you can go on there and you can buy either a PDF or an audio or a Kindle version of her book. It's $14.95 US. Obviously, Kindle and PDF, you'll get it straight, and even audio, you'll get it straight away. Helen, is there any update on books or anything like that? Are you shipping books from New Zealand?
So I'm going to do a Kickstarter for the paperback version.
That's right.
I want to create some momentum in terms of a bit of a tipping point where people are talking about the book, and I really want the paperback in people's hands, because then it's visible. You buy these books and they disappear on your computer and you forget about them. So this book is bright green and it's lying around the house, and you can write in the margins, and so I'm doing a Kickstarter in August. So if you join my mailing list from ibuiltanetwork.com, or Jules will be up to date with it, I'm sure. Then that will be running during August, and you'll get some tremendous deals on. I'm just trying to run that as close to cost as I possibly can, and that will ship in Australia and America. There's a company that I can use to ship to do that. So that will happen for the paperback in August. So it's a great time to do it as a book club. Like, read it together, and then you'll end up trading stories about it, like I was saying before.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. And I love that on your website you talk about a book club. There's also a free 21-day challenge with an audio session every day that Helen provides. So really encourage you to go to her website and sign up on the newsletter and take advantage of the great resources that she's providing. Super grateful for everything you've mentioned today, Helen. Any parting words of wisdom before we wrap the call up?
Well, I had to think about that, and really, I think what I made a little note was that it is an amazing vehicle. It's not a magic carpet, and I see people get that so confused over time that you've got to somehow be lucky to make it work, or chosen. And the trick is that you have to face yourself. And maybe your thing is time management. Maybe your thing is talking to people. Maybe your thing is backing yourself. Maybe your thing is, being more organized, whatever it is. And there's a great expression called, it doesn't matter how tall your grandfather was, you have to do your own growing. So it doesn't matter how amazing Justin is. It doesn't matter how amazing your sponsor is. You have to do it. The blessing is, new network marketing can be this great springboard to, like I said before, for a vocation, for a talent you want to pursue. For me, it's writing. And out here in the world of marketing a book, getting this message into the hands of the people who need it, there's nobody cheering me on. There's nobody saying, oh, Helen, that was great. It's lovely to hear Justin saying, God, that makes total sense, la, la, la. But in network marketing, there's someone there who absolutely cares about whether you're taking the steps you need to take or not. Your job is it's almost like they put you there, prop you up with the bat in your hand, but your job is you have to swing it. You have to get over yourself and swing the bat. You have to handle it when you miss 7 times out of 10. You have to handle it when the crowd's booing. You have to handle it when they're cheering, but you have to swing the bat. And the amazing thing is that it's not a lottery. It is a business, and that it's old enough now that there's someone just like you with your circumstances, your personality, your background, who's already made it, who's already blazed the trail. So you have to plug in, you have to be willing. It's okay to be skeptical, but you can't keep on and on and on asking people to persuade you to take your medicine. It's your goals, it's your dreams, and you have to do the steps you're being asked to do. And these next 90, whatever's left of your 90 days that you're doing now, make the calls and do what needs to be done, and then review. Don't keep being skeptical every single day. Make the decision to build your business and then do it. Make the decision once and then just do what needs to be done. Don't get so exhausted making the decision every day. And then after a few months, review and repeat, because the business works, but you have to work it. So yeah, you've got something amazing in your hands. What you do with it is totally up to you.
Awesome. Amazing finish. Thank you so much, Helen. That was incredible. There's lots of great comments in the chat box for you. Many people expressing their gratitude and their gratefulness and their agreement on the principles and concepts you've shared with us today. So we will wrap up the call. Just very quickly, I'll share with you following today, you will get an email with a recording of the call as long as people are registered for the 90-day sprint. I really encourage you to get stuck into those weekly meetings with your accountability groups and do everything that Helen's encouraged us to do today, to be honest, and to show up, the good, the bad, the ugly, and to make those declarations of action and get them done. The special training for accountability group leaders is next Monday, so the leaders of the groups will get special training for in support of them, and to as a thank you for them stepping up to the leadership plate. And next week, we have my friend Simon Chan, MLM Nation founder, great podcast as well as a resource. But for today, definitely encourage you to go to ibuiltanetwork.com and grab Helen's books and maybe start that as a book club in your accountability group. Wouldn't that be perfect timing? So do that. And also this evening, we do have at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Australian Standard Time or Brisbane time, we have the team getting started training. So if anyone has just started in your teams, reach out to them and get them along to tonight's Zoom. Okay, we'll wrap the call up and then we'll stick around for Q&A.